What's going on, everyone? So a couple weeks ago now, we got news that Rob Pelinka not only got an extension, but he also got a promotion. He was vice president of basketball operations, got promoted to president of basketball operations, which finally means we're going to get to see what Rob Pelinka can do with no handcuffs, right? Something that I talked about very heavily over the last few years is Jeannie Buss essentially making Rob Pelinka do everything with one hand, right? Jeannie Buss vetoed trades regularly or overrode stuff, talking to Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis and just a bunch of people that have nothing to do with the actual conversations, the day-to-day going through the works, right? Again, talked about it before. If you don't believe Rob Pelinka can do the job, fire him and bring in somebody that you do. Bring in a Bob Myers, right? Whatever. If you don't believe that people you have in positions can do the job and do the task, then fine, get rid of them. I have been very defensive of Rob Pelinka because most of the stuff that people complain about Rob Pelinka for, if you just simply do the research, you'd see is either completely inaccurate, had nothing to do with him, or he was overrode by Jeannie Buss, right? Now, there are a lot of things that you can criticize Rob Pelinka for, and I've talked about. I mean, they literally invented a rule for second round picks because of how poorly Rob Pelinka mismanaged second round and undrafted draft picks and stuff, right? So they had to completely change the way it worked because of how poorly Rob Pelinka did it. The other thing, and the biggest thing that if you want to go after Rob Pelinka for, would be the lack of center, right? Rob Pelinka has known for years we've needed a center, right? This isn't just like, we traded for Luka and now we need a center. Now, granted, we probably might not have gotten a starting center or anything, but we probably would have gotten a better center than what Jackson Hayes was, or at least just had more center depth, right? Even if the Lakers had went and trade for a Clint Capella or something, I would have rather Clint Capella as your starter than Jackson Hayes or Maxi Kleber after missing 4 months, or Alex Len, who's completely unplayable, right? So if Rob Pelinka would have done his job in that, well then I think we would have been in a much better position, but we're not. So if you want to go after him for that, because as far as the information goes, right, it's just something that they've never even addressed. Now, is that something behind the scenes with Jeannie Buss that Jeannie Buss is like, no, like that's not a priority, go do this, that, and the other? Or, Kurt Rambis is like, back in my day, we didn't cry and we just played center, right? Like, so maybe that's what it was. And that's why they traded Anthony Davis, because he didn't want to play center. I don't know, right? But what I do know now is it's go time for Rob Pelinka. What I do know now is that Rob Pelinka got to take off the handcuffs. Whoo, the genie's out of the lamp, right? And now we're going to get to see what he can do this offseason, right? This offseason, like Rob Pelinka is going to have his work cut out from him. He's about to earn that extension or he's not, right? Like this is a very pivotal, very important offseason for the Lakers. Why? Because again, you have LeBron who's probably got a year or two left. He's supposed to stick around, right? He's probably got a year or two left. And Luka is not going to want to stick around for a team that he can't win with. He might as well just go somewhere else, right? Now, I believe Luka Doncic will sign that extension. I'm not worried about him leaving, but it might be one of those things where I'll get the money and then leave, or he could kind of hold the Lakers' feet to the fire and go, hey, like, I'll sign the extension if you get me if you show me what you want to do. Kind of pull a page out of LeBron James's book, right? So Rob Pelinka, look, he has assets, he has pieces, he has players, he has all the things at his disposal. Does he have a treasure trove or anything like that? No. Is he going to have to get a little creative? Absolutely. All right. But he has first round picks, he has pick swaps, right? He has like $60 million in expiring contracts. He's got Austin Reeves, which I know he was terrible in these playoffs. There are teams that'll still take him. There are teams that'll still value him, teams that'll still want him because of his age, because of his contract, because of what they saw during the regular season, stuff like that. And you have teams that don't really care about making the finals and stuff. They just want to, have a half decent record so they can tell the fans like, hey, look at what we did, right? Type thing. So I do think that you have a key asset. again, I don't want trades just to do trades. I have talked about it in years past, right? No trade is better than a bad trade, right? I'd rather the Lakers do nothing and Rob Pelinka sit on his thumbs than, end up mortgaging the future for a bunch of just, garbage guys. Luol Dane and Timothy Mozgov is a great example of doing something just for the sake of doing something. Obviously, that wasn't a trade. Those were free agent signings, but still, right? Like, the point is that ended up handcuffing us for years. And then we had a stretch provision, guys, just for a year. We were paying Luol Dane up until like 3 years ago or whatever it was, right? Like, so again, I don't want to ever see a trade just to make a trade. I don't think you trade guys like Austin Reeves, as frustrated as I am with him. I don't think you trade him for a bag of chips. I don't think you trade Rui Hachimura for a bag of chips. I don't think you just trade guys just to say, hey, look what I did, right? Isn't this great, everyone? You guys wanted a trade? I made a trade. No, I don't think you do anything like that. But what I do think is that you need to start really gearing up. You have time. Put a plan together. Get everything in order, get everything structured. You have an idea. If we can see what this team needs, right, he should be able to see what this team needs. The obvious one is multiple centers. I think the Lakers need 2 centers. I think they need a legit starting level center and then a quality backup center, or like a starting level that's willing, to play a backup role, right? Those are the kind of things that the Lakers really desperately need. And so to me, I look at this and I go, okay, center should be the number one priority. Well, what else do you need? Well, you need depth, you need athleticism, in my opinion, I think you need to revamp this entire roster and build it entirely around Luka Doncic, right? I think this roster it doesn't have the athletes, it doesn't have the two-way guys, it doesn't have the things that you need to have success alongside Luka. Here's the thing too, the beauty is everything you want around Luka, you also want along LeBron James. Right? The only difference is, LeBron's probably best with like a floor spacing big that can shoot because he likes to put his head down and get to the basket, right? Where Luka likes that lob threat, getting into the traffic and then having that guy to throw to. That's probably the only difference. But the athleticism, the 3-and-D wings, right? The defense, all of those things the Lakers need. The only way you're going to have success is by getting those things this offseason, whether it's free agency signings or trades or whatever, right? This is the year that we're going to finally get to see, okay, what is Rob Pelinka got? Who is Rob Pelinka? What can he really do? No more handcuffs, or there shouldn't be, right? Because again, now he is president of basketball operations. Now Jeannie Buss should not be in the way and should not be dictating and going like, this, that. Look, everything goes by the owner, right? Every organization in the league, the owner signs off on it, right? But very rarely do you see owners go, that's not what I want to do. Lakers might have multiple championships if Jeannie Buss would have stayed out of it. Right? If the Lakers trade for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner for Russell Westbrook, right? Don't you think that maybe, just maybe, the Lakers would be in better position? One, they would still have Miles Turner, right? So you would have had Miles Turner, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic, which would have helped with the Rudy Gobert matchup and things like that. But also that Denver series a couple years ago, guess what? You would have had, Anthony Davis and Miles Turner to match up against Denver. And if we win, I think we beat Miami. Right? So Lakers probably win 2 championships at least. Who knows how this Minnesota series goes if you have a guy in Miles Turner who can match up and give you the interior size and give you the center, right? Like, point is, the past is the past. Can't change, can't fix the past, right? Wash your hands with it, be done. All you can do is move forward. You got your foundation, you got your building block for the next 10 years. You got one of the best players in the NBA. Right? Luka obviously has a lot of work to do this offseason. He's got to put his butt in gear and, get in shape and do all that stuff. I hope he just, latches on to LeBron James and him and LeBron just work out like crazy. Right? So Luka has a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong. But so does Rob Pelinka. And this offseason, while Luka and everyone else is doing their stuff, Rob Pelinka needs to be in that lab cooking. We need Rob Pelinka in that lab working his tail off to put together a competent roster, at least a large majority, right? If you get, say the Lakers need 5-6 guys, right? If you got 3 or 4 guys and then you get another 2 or 3 guys at the trade deadline, fine. But you at least need to get that main foundation. You need to get where, hey, this is our top, 6 guys. And you have centers, athleticism, all of it, right? And then get to the trade deadline and, minor tweaks or little adjustments or changes, or that opportunistic trade where it's like, like a Luka was an opportunistic trade, right? Like, that's what Rob Pelinka needs to be in. We're going to find out. We're going to see what he's got. You're going to find out pretty quickly. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Fill with your thoughts. Do you trust Rob Pelinka to get this done and to start to cook? Do you think that, no, I just don't see it happening. I don't trust him. Either way, however you feel, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.